to work together inclusively, to exchange, to dialogue with each other on eye level. These are really the key words for our day and age and for EUNIC.
To play an active role in creating a world that has a bit more tolerance, a bit more understanding.
To open up for different perspectives.
In a safe space of dialogue, we can grow. We can create something new with the other. We can learn something. We can get rid of some prejudices. We can go to our boundaries.
EUNIC is a very mysterious fellow constructed out of nothing because it never existed until 12 years ago.
Yeah, EUNIC is a network of 36 members of 36 organizations, cultural institutes who work abroad, where every member state of the European Union is represented.
And the main objective of the network is to build trust and understanding across cultures. On the one side, within the EU, of course, but at the same time, between the EU and the rest of the world.
In order to remain in that spirit of collaboration that the European Union has at its core, it's better to work together. And that's what EUNIC is facilitating. Yeah? And we're basically the blueprint of how that collaboration can happen. We're basically giving a structure to that.
What the world today needs is trust. Trust is built through relations. So I think that's why cultural institutes and the community of cultural institutes, such as EUNIC, really can play a very, very, very important role.
For example, in the case of Tunisia, to say let's join forces to bring forward an entire cultural sector, and I think that's where the strengths of the network and of a network as EUNIC come into play.
The overall objective is connected to the development of Tunisia. This is also a matter of building a stable and strong democracy. And cultural actors and cultural activists have an important role to play in this. They were at the forefront of the 2011 revolution. They have been playing an important role to structure the civil society sector, to be at the heart of initiatives for demand more rights for themselves, but also for the rest of the community. And it's been demonstrated now that culture has a central role to play in this. The cultural industry tends to have a big percentage of the GDP in developed countries, and we hope that it can play an interesting role in Tunisia's development in time of crisis, to be honest.
La plupart de ces projets reflètent l'état d'esprit de la Tunisie aujourd'hui. Ce sont des projets qui amènent la culture au cœur de la société, dans les régions. Ce sont des projets sociaux, culturels.
But the most important that is to enforce and empower civil society to high quality level of cultural projects, which have important impact on the citizens, on the local development, and sustainability.
Vos institutions, votre dynamisme, votre énergie de pénétration.
En Tunisie, on a vraiment plein de jeunes qui ont des idées, qui ont des projets, lorsque seulement ils ont bien encadré. Donc si on se sent tellement à l'aise dans quoi que ce soit, avec un bailleur de fonds, avec une organisation comme FAN, on se sent vraiment valorisé et on donne le plus. On a besoin de vulgariser l'information et on a besoin surtout de la décentralisation de la culture.
Moi, je respecte cette intention de fonds comme FAN de rapprocher, d'aider à rétrécir ce fossé entre eux. Le politique et l'artiste, c'est très important.
The role of EUNIC in all of this is extremely important. EUNIC is at the core of the most important decisions that we make as a program. And this is extremely important because cultural institutes taken on their own have their own agenda, which can be connected to the diplomacy or agenda of their own countries. And in fact, they can be seen as strongholds for a specific vision, the French vision, the British vision, the German vision, etc., etc. When you put them all together around the table, now this changes the dynamic completely. They are not carrying the flag of their own country, but they are more about promoting the values, the shared common values of the European Union, which are values of inclusion, integration of minorities, etc., etc.
EUNIC pour nous c'est extrêmement important parce que c'est une plateforme de la somme de tous les instituts culturels européens, la somme de tous les soft power européens présents ici. Donc il y a une forme de dynamisme à l'intérieur de EUNIC et aussi une forme de neutralisation d'une certaine façon, puisque l'idée n'est pas de vendre une culture francophone, latine, scandinave, mais d'accompagner la culture tunisienne par des porteurs de projets qui le font chez eux et qui le font dans les autres pays. Donc l'apport de EUNIC est fondamental pour nous. C'est un partenaire qui a gagné une grande crédibilité au niveau du ministère des Affaires culturelles tunisien, qui a été sollicité sur ce projet, mais sur d'autres projets, et qui régulièrement mobilise expertise, compétences, voire financement pour ces différents projets.
So we are a much stronger project because we have EUNIC in terms of image, in terms of decision making, in terms of diplomacy and capacity to negotiate with the different stakeholders. And in fact, we would not exist without EUNIC.
And dialogue among cultures is not about teaching our culture to the rest of the world. We need to learn as much as we need to teach, and actually we need to learn before we teach, and we need to listen before we talk. This is also something that
there's a historical moment in 2016, in June 2016, when the joint communication was published by the European Commission and the High Representative for Foreign Affairs in the EU.
And these papers, they bring forth an understanding of cultural exchange, cultural relations that is quite progressive and contemporary, and which talks about dialogue, creating together, mutual understanding, listening to each other.
In 2011, where the statutes changed, so that
is to do with the new approach that's been taken, the new strategic approach that's been taken by all the member states and the institutions, which is to move away from showcasing, but instead move to what's called the cultural relations approach. So it means that states take a step back. The work of their institutes is at arm's length from government. Now, why is that? Because it's believed that if you have an arm's length approach, you're more likely to be understood and to be trusted if governments take a step back.
If we politicize our work, it loses the quality that is needed to be serious arts and culture.
You cannot work with projection. You cannot work push. You cannot work with anything that is not of mutual relevance.
It also matters in smaller countries where actually member states have been competing with each other in their international cooperation. And this is used by partners. It's also a waste of money because we're all trying to do the same things just to promote our little national image, thinking that we will be better off at the end of the day. But this is over. We're too small as member states to make a difference on our own.
National cultural institutes traditionally have this sort of label that they are seen also partly as propaganda instruments for your own country, for your own nation. And to a certain extent, EUNIC helps to change these perceptions, but also the real work of these institutes. And maybe in the long run, this is the most important achievement.
One of the things we've wanted to do in the last few years
is to think how we can be more joined up, how we can be more sustainable in what we do, and more strategic in what we do.
Yeah, in Ukraine, this is a land of transition. The background is a war in the eastern part, which means all of us have to think about how to act in these years, in this moment.
Well, we're joking now that we have, in Ukraine, there is a revolution every 10 years, you know. So it's definitely a society in making, you know.
This is a 3-year EU-funded program, and its aim is to support the capacity and the development of culture and creative industries in Ukraine, and also to enlarge the cooperation between Ukrainian organizations and European organizations.
It's really about people to people. It's a level beyond organizations. It's about face-to-face contact between the European Union citizens and Ukrainians, but also between Ukrainians themselves.
But what is very unique here is that we have from both sides, from the governmental side and from the side of the civil activists. Yeah. We are asked for help, for collaboration, for partnership. And this is totally different here. Yeah. People trust in us, and we have a little bit also the function to be a bridge between governmental reforms and activists' needs.
It's really about the opportunity to talk to each other, to face each other. In these terms, I really hope that we will create some kind of platform, some kind of space where people can talk to each other on the topics they really are interested in today.
Because if people don't have a possibility to share their ideas and to look at the situation from different viewpoints, then there is no democracy and there is no development, there is no growth.
Alors ce projet il s'est articulé autour de plusieurs événements et plusieurs actions qui devraient normalement s'adresser aux populations. Et donc dans tout ce projet, il y a l'artiste Mansour Karakassi qui a offert ces créations qu'on a utilisées pour faire des billets de train qu'on a distribués dans la banlieue pour que cette biennale soit populaire, que les gens puissent utiliser le train, le petit train bleu de la banlieue pour venir en centre-ville voir les expositions.
Pas simplement notre projet, mais tout projet culturel, social, politique doit avoir un impact sur le développement, pas du Sénégal, mais du monde. Pour toujours revenir sur la question d'ouverture, parce que on voyage, on regarde, on a des amis partout, des membres partout, et donc on s'inspire des choses qui se passent partout dans le monde pour pouvoir, si c'est bien pour nous, implanter ça ici, et on prend des choses de chez nous, on implante ailleurs.
Sans recul, sans regret, sans retard, sans souci.
Ça nous permet également de nous rapprocher de l'art. C'est une façon de changer les mentalités.
We see everywhere we go that apart from political considerations or sometimes difficult political discussions, culture is always above that. So it's the right way to explore synergies and contacts people to people, which is in the end what matters.
EUNIC has this particularity that they have clusters in every country, so they can more easily to go to the people and have this feeling of the needs of people. This cannot be done centrally. This has to be done locally in the member states and through institutions like EUNIC.
In this respect, they are absolutely essential partners because it is within EUNIC that you find the competence, the knowledge, the capacity and the skills to really carry out international cultural relations in the sense that we want to promote, which is not just about showcasing European cultures and our achievements or weaknesses in that field. It's rather this people-to-people approach, this idea of exchanges, of co-creation, of working together towards the same goal, which is also what we really champion and what EUNIC is doing so effectively.
To connect the refugees themselves with their own identity that was somehow taken away from them through the stories that come from their own languages, but also to exchange cultures with the local population, with the Greeks, since we share so many common stories and so many common cultures.
Help creating a community in a temporary solution, in a temporary situation. And up to this moment we have contacts with many of the people that we have worked with all over Europe. Even though now they have relocated, they have carried with themselves the experience that we created together.
As a EUNIC cluster in Austria, we were asked by EUNIC Global in Brussels to have a strategy. So then we thought, what are political discussions taking place in Austria? We had the refugee issue, immigration and asylum. So that was a big issue in Austria. So we thought, okay, if we're here together, all 28, let's talk about this also and have projects on inclusion. And at the end we had like 120 students participating on 4 projects, 7 schools, 4 projects.
Today we presented our art project Strange Fruit, and also other schools presented what they did.
We had a project with 2 other schools, and each school had to make 6 paintings and try to describe their own opinion of social inclusion, equality, freedom, diversity.
ما زلت أتذكر ذلك جيدا عندما كنت أنا وعائلتي في سوريا.
Where they become engaged in it, and it makes the connection between this conceptual content and what they're making. And that has the long-term anchoring effect that allows them to experience what this project is about, and it stays with them for years down the road.
This is my Strange Fruit project. When you learn about other cultures and how they live and how they communicate, then this makes our own lives more beautiful, more colorful, more interesting.
And also if we learn about other cultures, we can understand why things happened in the past and also in the future and why they're happening.
That we are living on one planet and humanity is one and not the single countries. We're all humans and we should basically stay together and work together.
On the singing and theatre and the painting and making a film, I think this es berührt, it touches the heart, it touches the soul, and I think this is important.
I think this project was a very good experience and I would do it again and again.
The work with students, with young people, is our great challenge because they are our future. They are very, very important for the future of the whole Europe.
Because with culture and with education, we approach young people. We approach the people, the students, pupils, who give our integration, our integrated Europe, a future.
Well, at the moment in the European Union, the basic problem we have is that we are looking into divisions of this European project.
Les peuples européens, les citoyens européens se posent des questions sur le sens de l'Europe et surtout se posent des questions sur l'utilité de l'Europe. Et ces questions qui sont très pertinentes, très légitimes et auxquelles il faut savoir répondre, parfois aussi trouvent des réponses dans le populisme, dans le repli national, dans le conservatisme. Donc c'est très important de valoriser cet actif stratégique qui est notre culture européenne commune.
We all know that the idea of Europe being a peace process, and that's why personally I'm very convinced in EUNIC work, is to bring back audiences to why we have Europe, why Europe is a peace and a political project. In reality, it was just a mean to avoid killing each other, which we had done for thousands of years. And so even within Europe, it makes sense every day, again and again, to tell people what Europe is. The EU is a peace project on values, on democracy, and ending war.
So talking about how to overcome and what sort of experience we have, also cultural experiences, is of paramount importance, I would say, to have a future for the European project. And this has, to my mind, never been as urgent as it is now.
It's exchanges among us that made us richer and not weaker. Culture in Europe has always been and is always plural, because so many different cultures belong in this continent. European culture is diversity. European culture is distinction, and it is at the same time common ground.
EUNIC Spagna nasce formato da 9 istituti, oggi ci sono 19 partecipanti, quindi dà un senso di quello che è successo all'Europa con l'allargamento. Le voci sono tante, le voci sono diverse, però crediamo che sostanzialmente in questa diversità ci sia un potenziale importante, non è divisiva, ma è un qualcosa che ci arricchisce.
With this, we just open a cultural map of Europe, touching current issues and underlining the importance that these issues are being discussed not on a national level, they need to be discussed on a broader level.
But then Europe is such a diverse place when you actually open up and think, oh my God, even in this project, there's people from Belgium, from the Czech Republic, from Romania. You take an idea from Spain, you put it in England, probably in front of an audience, probably it will be something that they've been thought about, and vice versa.
So just getting these different playwrights, getting the other perspective through a Spanish director or directress. This is already an interesting encounter.
¿Qué le pasa, Joseph?
Se ha quedado sin conexión. Creemos que el humor es un buen vehículo para contar cosas muy importantes, ¿sabes? No hace falta hacer una tragedia o un drama para contar una cosa importante. Desde el humor es muy fácil empatizar con la gente y llegar a la gente contando temas también muy pesados y duros, ¿no?
But then when you realize that you can learn a lot from other languages just in translating, or it demands another mental structure, and that takes you out from the place of comfort. And that is very interesting.
Creo que ahora y siempre el teatro y todo lo que es artístico ha funcionado para unir y es algo universal. Muchas veces no importa el idioma porque se puede transmitir igual una historia. Me parece súper importante este proyecto que ha unido culturas, idiomas, incluso religiones, con un mismo fin.
Sí, vale, es mi historia y supongo que es bonita.
Bastante, mucho, porque es la libertad de las personas. Habla sobre las libertades de cada uno. Está muy bien.
Guarda la Settimana Europea delle Linguas, no? Che ha puntato sulla lingua, sul multilinguismo come lingua d'Europa. E tu hai una vetrina su 19 paesi, oggi sono anche di più, che presentano esperienze diverse ma fanno parte tutte di un tessuto comune.
assim o Benjamin dos jovens que eram.
What we find most interesting here with the European Literature Evening is that we are made aware that there are different cultures, there are different traditions, there are different ways of writing, speaking, being, but we can always find a common denominator to all of us.
Cette année aussi, c'est l'année européenne du patrimoine et c'est aussi un moment très important pour que les Européens découvrent non seulement leur patrimoine nationaux, mais aussi découvrent qu'ils ont un patrimoine partagé et qui est vraiment le reflet de cette unité dans la diversité.
Today we are together here to the Simplacare with the international breakfast. The Polish, the Czech, French, Israel and Romanian Institute.
And when people sit together to eat together and to enjoy the food together, then you know all the conflicts will just disappear. So really, I don't think there is a better way to bring people together and also to learn about the culture of the other.
Well, cultural heritage, most of people actually only think of archaeological sites or old buildings, but as we can also see in this exhibition, cultural heritage relates to all areas of our lives, and actually buildings are just a minor part of the exhibition. It's mostly about people living in Europe and how we live in Europe. We wanted to make Europe visible here in London, and we are very happy that actually we were able to present an open-air exhibition in which all 28 EU member states are present, and to show it here in a public space to a really wide public.
This image represents a different side of kind of life in Dublin and Ireland. It's boxing, it's a working class sport, and maybe some of these images people wouldn't normally see.
Après des années de réflexion et de travail sur la musique tunisienne, je peux dire que j'ai fait juste une petite introduction, mais qui me permet quand même de travailler. C'est très important le respect des langages dans cette globalisation. Pour que chacun apporte quelque chose, il faut qu'il respecte vraiment beaucoup les traditions, les langages. Parce que ce qui compte finalement, ce n'est pas la Tunisie, ce n'est pas X ou Y, je pense que ce qui compte c'est la musique. C'est le plus important, elle est vraiment au-dessus de toute valeur et patrimoniale, et historique, et patriotique. La musique, je la vois un peu au-dessus. Donc ce qui compte réellement, c'est développer la musique. Ça, c'est une cause encore que je vois beaucoup plus noble.
L'Union européenne, le discours de l'Union européenne sur la culture, c'est un discours très clair. Il ne s'agit pas de faire de la culture transnationale ou de la culture standardisée. Au contraire, notre projet à nous, c'est que les pays dans lesquels on intervienne soient absolument fiers, valorisent leur culture pour qu'ils apportent ce patrimoine sur la table de la discussion, du partage et de l'échange.
O flamenco, portanto, como eu disse, é património mundial da humanidade e é uma dança que chegou a todos os tipos de países, portanto, tanto na Europa, Portugal, Itália, França, na Rússia, Japão, Latinoamérica, Norte da América, portanto, é uma arte que se expandiu que se estendeu por todo o mundo. E em Sevilha é interessante porque chegam, portanto, bailarinos de todas as partes do mundo. Alguns falam espanhóis, outros não falam espanhóis. E é interessante como a dança consegue nos unir e é uma linguagem universal, portanto, através da dança, através do flamenco, dos sapateados, das mãos.
May, and it's a tradition in Czech Republic to kiss under the blossom of a cherry tree. So I'm here with my Czech wife to give her a kiss under the blossom of the cherry tree, and we're all having a great time.
Well, this evening was to me a discovery. I didn't know about this tradition, so I found out about this tradition this evening. So this is something I feel, richer this evening than I was, 2 hours ago. And I think this is fantastic because you approach people in this way. Well, culture is part of our identity. And by sharing culture, we come to know each other much better. We become more tolerant, more open, richer. And all this leads to our big project, big European project, which is peace in this continent.
Whatever culture is about, it's about the communication with someone else. And this is ingrained, I think, in the whole notion of why we should work with others. So culture is always about the other, because only in the image of the other you can better realize your own.
Je ne peux pas dire que la culture change comme ça le monde et que la culture peut nous amener de la paix sur la terre, etc., ou changer le système. Non, mais par contre, la culture change les individus. Et c'est en changeant les individus qu'on arrive un jour à changer justement le système.
Because you cannot really impose values. You have to come to the conclusion that this is important, that freedom is important, that tolerance is essential to express yourself and to live your life as you wish, as you see it. And culture is the best way to do it. Dialogue, which happens in the best way, in the most sincere way, happens through culture.
If we say to destroy the stereotypes, it eases to see that this human message is there in all of us. So it's not easy to ask people to speak to each other, but it's easy to ask them to dance together,
Parce qu'on ne peut pas avancer seul. On ne peut pas faire notre monde, puisque aujourd'hui il y a les réseaux sociaux, il y a plein de trucs, donc on se partage, on s'échange pour améliorer, pour un monde plus beau.
So I think it's essential. Culture builds identity. What kind of identity do we want to build? If we want to build an identity that is common, then it is through culture, and there is no other solution.